Imagine being married to someone and his closest confidant is a fucking giraffe.
You're really feeling for Remy Hardy at this point.
I really am.
Hello, welcome to Lore of the Ring, where I describe wrestling lore to my co-host. I'm Dan.
I'm Daphne.
And today we're going to discuss what's referred to as the Broken Universe. So, Daphne, why don't you tell me a little bit about what your cumulative knowledge of Matt and Jeff Hardy at this point?
Oh god, okay, let me think here. Let me see here. I know that Jeff is considered to be the more popular of the two. He dealt with a lot of public, drug issues and stuff. That's what he was dealing with during, like, the match that we watched in the last episode. Let me think here. Other stuff I've learned about the Hardy Boys would have been, many more episodes ago. Like, I want to say, like, episode 1 status is when I was hearing stuff about them. Were the Hardy Boys involved in were they the I think I might be getting mixed up with someone else. Were they the ones that were involved in that plotline where, like, one of them's girlfriends, like, was cheating on them with the other, and that was like a real life thing that turned into a story thing?
Yeah, that was with Matt and former Vampire Edge.
That's right. Okay, that was Matt Hardy and Edge. Okay, former Vampire Edge. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm beginning to build a little bit of my conspiracy wall here of how the Hardy Boys are involved.
So this is actually a storyline that spans not just, like, a long amount of time, but multiple companies as well.
God, okay.
So we start at the wrestling company TNA Impact, which used to be WWE's main rival until Hulk Hogan destroyed that company from the inside out. That's a little bit of hyperbole, but only a little bit. So Matt and Jeff are both in this company at this time, and the storyline is centrally focused on them. Important, just side note, Jeff occasionally wrestles under the name Willow, where he dresses as kind of like this Spawn character.
Huh, okay. Does he think Willow means something scarier?
So, it's just like an alternate identity. Let me send you a picture of him as Willow.
Okay. Because
Willow features in this a little bit.
Ooh, okay. Well, I mean, good costume.
So, start of this story, Matt becomes the TNA Impact World Champion, but there's this other wrestler, EC3, who's doing, like, very underhanded villainous things. Like, the first thing he does is that he files an injunction against Matt that prevents him from appearing at Impact, which causes him to have to relinquish his title.
Oh, jeez, okay.
So, it's like this big, like, round thing of him trying to get the title back and him trying to beat EC3. But after this long feud, EC3 ends up winning. Jeff was trying to help Matt, but after Matt loses, he gets enraged and he turns on his brother, and they have an I Quit match. Do you remember what I Quit match is?
That is one of the ones that does what it sounds like, and the loser actually has to quit the company.
Well, it's the one where it's like a submission match in that you have to quit, you have to admit you have to.
Right. That's right. You have to actually say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a big part of Matt Hardy's character, he has a catchphrase, Matt Hardy never says die. Meaning that he'll never give up, you have to, like, destroy him to beat him. And same is very true of Jeff. So uncharacteristically of an I Quit match, this match ends in no contest because both of them get injured so badly they can't even fight each other anymore.
Oh, okay.
They both get injured, like fake injured, and have to go away from TV. Jeff's able to walk away, but Matt has to be taken away on a stretcher.
Okay.
Jeff returns a few weeks later, but his match gets interrupted by someone dressed as Willow.
Okay, so the Willow alter ego was established at this point, and someone else in the Willow costume showed up, or is this Willow's first appearance?
This Willow's already established at this point.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So, and everyone knows Jeff is Willow, and so it's like really like why? How did this happen?
Gotcha. Okay.
Jeff is later attacked by 3 different people dressed as Willow at the same time.
Huh. Okay.
This goes on for a few weeks, and to the point, at one point, there's the 3 Willows are in the ring. 2 of them are holding Jeff down by his arms, and the other one is talking on the mic through a voice changer, so you can't really tell who it is. But then they pull the mask off, and it's revealed to be Matt.
Okay, all right, that checks.
And Matt makes this speech. I'm just gonna read it because I don't want to have to edit it into the episode. It gets copyright claimed.
That's fair, yeah.
You loved Willow more than you ever loved me. That is if you ever loved me at all, Brother Nero. You used my brilliance. I am the reason we both succeeded and reached the heights we did. These people loathe me, yet they love you. How do you think that makes me feel? I used your creation, your own creature, to show your fatal mistake. And your mistake wasn't fighting me. It wasn't descending from the heavens to obliterate your own flesh and blood, Nero. Your mistake was not to finish me. You left me broken, battered, injured, scarred, but you did not finish the job.
Damn, alright, that's really good.
And he goes on to say, he closes out the speech by going, and if my survival means your total destruction, then so be it. And then he starts attacking Jeff.
That's very supervillain speech. I'm really into it.
Yeah, it's gonna get even further into there.
This already sounds like a comic book event. Broken Universe is like very on par with like Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Pretty much. It gets to that point.
Good.
So there's definitely a portion of this that's tied to like the real life reception that the Hardys get. With you mentioned Jeff's always the more popular one, gets the more opportunities, been world champion, things that Matt hasn't really gotten to do that often. But Matt's really the creative force that we see with them. He's always reinventing himself, trying new gimmicks, taking pieces of previous iterations of his gimmick and updating them and using them in different ways. Like, even though this storyline is so, like, robust, it's not even the gimmick he's still using. He's updated his gimmick since then.
Huh, okay.
And since this gimmick, he's become more of kind of like a Lex Luthor type, which is very funny. Some other things I want to set up before we move forward. He called Jeff Brother Nero. Nero is Jeff's middle name. The idea is Matt's trying to remove Jeff's identity.
Gotcha, okay.
Matt's also picked up what I can only describe as a non-regional accent.
Okay.
He's talking like if someone wanted to do an imitation of a stuffy, rich, sophisticated person, but has only heard bad imitations of that.
Huh, okay.
He's got the speech patterns of like a British "oh I say" type, but he's not doing a British accent. Still very an American voice.
Alright.
I do want to establish an additional character whose existence confounds me to this day. His name is Senior Benjamin. Senior Benjamin is Matt's gardener, who has somehow become a party to this.
Wait, what? Is there... I mean, I don't know if I want to derail the backstory to that, but I'm so curious.
There's like bits of Benjamin you get, but he's not the main character. He gets like bits of backstory as like a side character does, and it's so hard to do any of this justice without showing you things. We are gonna watch the most important match out of all of this.
Oh, okay.
Also, Matt's wife, Rebby Sky, and his son, Maxwell, have also become a part of this. Maxwell is 1 year old. Matt has also picked up the catchphrase of saying that he's going to delete Jeff. And it's saying that someone's going to be deleted, or as Matt says, deleted. It's a regular part of his vocabulary now. And in research to make sure I had all the story stuff right on this, I found out this is a Death Note reference.
I was about to make a Homestar Runner reference. I was going to ask this was a Strong Bad Emails thing, but I don't know if the years line up for that to work.
I mean, this was a few years ago. I think this started in 2014, this storyline.
Oh, so That's... I mean, the Death Note reference is also very weirdly specific.
And it's like an obscure reference. It's something that I was like, wait, and then I had to like look back at like a later part of Death Note, and I'm like, oh, okay.
God, okay.
So Matt and Jeff go back and forth until Matt challenges Jeff to a battle that he calls the Final Deletion. The winner gets the full rights to the Hardy name, and their battle won't take place at the Impact Arena, but at the Hardy compound.
Okay.
So I'm going to introduce another concept to you. Can you guess what a cinematic match is?
Oh man. No, I can't think. I don't really have a guess for that one.
So a cinematic match isn't any single rule set. It's a match that's filmed and edited ahead of time, normally at like an empty location. Like, you know, backstage hardcore shenanigans I mentioned when we talked about the hardcore title, or Hulk Hogan being sucked into a realm without Hulkamaniacs.
Yeah.
It doesn't require live performance, as it can be edited and cleaned up to feature more of just the good parts. It feels like a natural evolution of what wrestling is, because wrestling in general is equivalent to a live stage show, so this would be like a movie.
Okay.
It serves practical purposes as well as any stunt that, like burying someone alive or drowning someone in cement, that is difficult to do safely and convincingly, can now be done safer and in multiple takes to make sure they get one that looks right.
Okay.
Also, like, wrestling is very dangerous, so there's plenty of old wrestlers who aren't officially cleared to compete anymore, so this is a way to get them to be able to work without putting them at risk.
Huh, okay, cool.
Really, this is just because this match does some ridiculous shit. This is why this one's pre-recorded.
Okay.
So, the Final Deletion is what got me back into wrestling. Like, I was casually invested again. Like, I wasn't watching every week, but I would, like, go to the Reddit r/squared circle and check the recap thread of what has happened. But thankfully someone had, like, uploaded this match in full on Dailymotion, and I watched it, and I was like, this is amazing. The best way I've seen this match described as it's the wrestling equivalent of a B-movie.
That is exciting.
So, we're going to send the rest of y'all into a commercial break, and me and Daphne are going to watch this match. See y'all in a minute.
Hell yes. See you guys in a minute.
Did you know our podcast is also available over on Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Casts, and Radio Public? All great ways to listen to Lore of the Ring on the go. Those uploads are also sponsored, so listening over there is a great way to support the show as well. Links are in the description. And we're back. Daphne, what are your thoughts on that?
I have. I feel like the phrase "I have so many questions" is a little overdone. I do, however, feel as though I have a large number of questions. That I don't think anything I expected to happen happened in that match.
So an important thing to note, when they first did this, they had no confidence from Impact about this angle. They did this all themselves.
This was all them?
Yeah, they were like, we're gonna do this.
Oh my god, that's so good. That's just like, that's the exact energy of like a really dumb idea me and my sibling had that we just decided to run with and no one could talk us out of. That's exactly that energy. How did he appear in his Willow? How did the Willow fake out at the end? I have so many. That's the part that I think will haunt me for the rest of time is the mystery of that final little bit of the match where Jeff like is knocked underwater, surfaces in his Willow outfit, and Senior Benjamin is there and like tasers him and is knocked away, but then when Matt Hardy pins Willow and removes the mask, it's Senior Benjamin. Like how does that even?
Well, we do have an explanation for the first part, which we will get to.
Holy shit. I know I draw the comic book and anime comparison a lot, but that's such a fucking comic book thing. Is like, you thought it was me in my costume, but of course it wasn't.
There are a fair amount of things that got turned into memes because of this match.
As I would hope so.
This is a magnificent xylophone was one of them.
That's in my notes in all caps.
And oh shit! Just him breaking character and going, oh shit.
That was so good.
In his normal ass voice.
Just a totally normal person voice out of nowhere.
And also, it's a dilapidated boat. Got a lot of mileage.
I can imagine. Holy shit, that was great. An extraordinary xylophone.
So this became one of the most popular things Impact Wrestling ever did.
For good reason.
Even Vince McMahon knew about it, and he's notoriously doesn't look at anything besides his own company. Because WWE tried to do their own version of this match multiple times, using their own weird acting, quasi-supernatural character Bray Wyatt.
God, okay.
Bray Wyatt was a cult leader, hillbilly deliverance type. Even in how they promoted the match, it was clear they were taking inspiration, because the final deletion took place at the Hardy compound, but the Wyatt family's match took place at the Wyatt family compound.
Oh, naturally.
So, after this match, Jeff is quote-unquote reborn and takes up the name Brother Nero officially, and Matt and Jeff start teaming together again. The angle becomes more supernatural from this point. With plenty of things being introduced, like the Lake of Reincarnation, which is a body of water that if you fall into it, you are reborn as a former version of yourself, which is how Jeff was able to transform.
Oh, that's how he became Willow. Then why... Okay, alright. That accounts for one of the two apparent transformations that I witnessed in this. It does not, however, account for the second.
It does not account for Senior Benjamin.
What was with that bait and switch? How did that happen?
That's never explained. A lot of people thought they killed off Senior Benjamin, but he comes back, so...
Yeah, I was gonna say, it looked like he got killed. He tasered himself.
Yeah. When Matt used the Lake of Reincarnation, he found that his soul once was in the quote-unquote vessel of an ancient Egyptian pharaoh who was killed when bitten by an asp.
Okay, alright, that tracks.
Matt also develops the ability to talk to animals.
Of course.
But always specifically ones that have the soul of ancient historical figures in them.
Well, there's a lot of those, so that gives him a lot of versatility when he talks to different animals and stuff.
Two specific ones. I guess I shouldn't have said ancient historical figures, because some of these are recent, but some aren't. There's a giraffe with the soul of George Washington inside.
Okay, alright, that makes sense.
And there's a kangaroo with the soul of boxer Joe Frazier inside.
Now that's just fucking preposterous. I refuse to accept that.
Jeff and Matt fight the kangaroo.
Oh, okay, I'm back on board.
And the kangaroo seems to be winning at all points of the fight.
You know, every time I've seen someone fight a kangaroo, whether it's fictional or a real life thing, that's usually how it goes down. That does not surprise me.
I can show you both the clips clips of him talking and consulting with the giraffe.
I feel like I should probably see them.
Yeah, let me pull up the giraffe with the soul of George Washington inside.
Oh, okay.
Also, the little drone, the one that he called Vanguard 1, gets an AI installed into it so it can talk on its own.
Aww. That's really cute. Okay, so that was a lot more straightforward than I was expecting it to be.
What were your thoughts on that? Because I definitely had to cut around that.
I feel like that raised more questions, but it really endeared me to the whole endeavor much, like, even more than I already was. It's just, knowing that the two of them came up with it together, everything about this is so much more just, this is the exact sort of thing that two brothers would just sit around and spin into this dumb nonsense adventure, and it's just perfect.
Do you want to see them get their shit wrecked by a kangaroo?
Yes, I absolutely do. I'm suddenly very enamored by everything about this. Yeah, this could actually get you killed.
It's actually choking him out.
It's actually just gonna choke you out. How are you even doing that?
I like that kangaroo's default pose is just, like, flexing.
Yeah. Kangaroo's just, like, constantly jacked and constantly ready to kill you.
So, another thing that's established is that Broken Matt and Brother Nero can't tell the difference between in-storyline things and real-life events.
I mean, that checks out. That doesn't surprise me at this point.
I would show you a clip, but that would spoil a part of the eventual Hornswoggle episode we do.
Oh, dear God. Okay, well, I don't want that to spoil things for me.
So, the broken gimmick would eventually become so popular, because they kept doing these matches with more things being added, the King in Gold, him being able to teleport, that they do a whole hour-and-a-half long episode of Impact totally dedicated to the broken gimmick, which climaxes in a final match in which someone is thrown into a volcano.
Alright. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's gotta.
It doesn't destroy them, it launches them into the air and makes them land in the ring where Matt pins them.
That's fucking amazing. God.
It's so good. Is this anywhere of how you would imagine wrestling at all would, like, go into this territory?
Well, I mean, yes and no. My mental image is always limited to just, like, you know, the ring and doing weird stuff in the ring. And it's always been like, all right, there's going to be outlandish costumes and you're going to say, oh, this character is, you know, an undead wizard or something. But I guess seeing it happen with, like, editing and ostensibly a budget of sorts and, like, maybe some special effects snuck in here and there, I feel like it's opening up more avenues to how these storylines can play out and what this can be than I was initially expecting there to be. I feel like this is kind of opening up more potential in what it's making me more aware of a larger amount of potential to the way that these stories can go and the weirdness that this can get to. I'm gonna have so many questions for the rest of my life.
It's very good. All of, like, Matt's matches that he did with Impact are on YouTube. So they're all available. That whole episode that I mentioned, they uploaded the full hour-and-a-half episode to YouTube.
I kind of feel like I need to check this out, unless that's gonna spoiler stuff.
No, I mean, I don't know what else I can talk about besides general weirdness with that and someone being thrown into a volcano and launched into the sky.
Okay.
So that's definitely something you can watch. I'll send you the link to it so you can add it to your watch later.
Thank you.
So now we're going to get to this brief intermediary period, like, after the Hardys left Impact.
Okay.
And what happens at this point is a thing to add to the list of reasons why wrestlers should be unionized.
Oh god, okay.
So Matt, Jeff, and Matt's wife Rebby were the ones that pretty much crafted the Broken Matt gimmick and the Broken Universe together. They did a lot of this without any Impact oversight.
Of course.
When the Hardys tried to take the gimmick to another promotion, Impact sent them a cease and desist claiming they created the gimmick and they owned it.
Oh, bullshit. Okay, well, that's stupid, but alright.
Thus ensued a legal battle that lasted nearly a year.
God.
During this time, Matt and Jeff also joined back with WWE, who really wanted to use the broken gimmick.
It does seem like the kind of thing that WWE would, one, really enjoy, and two, get a lot out of.
And this is especially because the crowd, even the people who didn't watch Impact at WWE, were well aware of the broken gimmick and would chant Matt's vocal tics for the broken gimmick.
God.
The crowd would all go at once when something good happened. They'd go, "Wonderful!"
Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, when they're that level of invested, that's gotta really cement what a success your idea was.
So, also, but during the legal battle, Impact updated its contractual terms.
Mm-hmm.
Contractual. I don't know how to say this word. Contractual? Yes.
Contractual.
Contractual terms that, and said like, oh, the wrestlers own the rights to their gimmicks. But the legal lawsuits, even though they essentially forfeited it by doing that, it still lasted 2 more months as Matt was trying to legally acquire the copyright to all elements of the Broken Universe.
God, what a pain. I mean, I'm glad he did.
Yeah. And, like, this legal trouble isn't even, like, unique to him. Like, with the Dudley Boys, who I mentioned a few episodes back. I think I've mentioned them twice.
A couple, yeah.
They found that WWE claimed ownership over the name Dudley Boys, despite them creating it years before even working for WWE.
That sounds like a Vince move.
Bubba Ray said in an interview that he spoke to a copyright lawyer who said, yeah, they could get it back, but between legal fees and everything that WWE would throw at them, it would probably cost like $200,000.
God, of course.
And they'd also risk burning a bridge with WWE. So Bubba and Devon just said whatever and adopted a new name, Team 3D. Bubba goes by Bully when he's at other promotions, and Devon changed the dash in his name to an E, so it's spelt actually like Devon now.
Okay, alright. I mean, that's a good way around that. That sucks, but still.
So, the iteration of the Broken Universe in WWE is referred to as Woken Matt Hardy, because...
Woken Matt Hardy.
Because he was lying dormant when...
Of course.
Because
now that he's been awakened.
Yeah, he re-debuted with Jeff at WrestleMania as a surprise. Like, they came out to a huge, like, everyone cheering, and Matt coming out, and the first thing he does is the wonderful!
That's pretty good.
So, when he finally gets to be fully awoken Matt, he gets in a feud with Bray Wyatt, that quasi-supernatural character.
Yeah.
They have a cinematic match between each other, which Matt wins due to interference from Senior Benjamin.
Of course.
I love that Senior Benjamin came with them to WWE. That's my favorite thing.
That's great.
And then they throw Bray into the Lake of Reincarnation.
Wait, so what did that do?
It just made Bray a good boy, and he teamed with Matt for a bit.
Oh. Alright.
But the weirdest thing they do with the Broken Universe takes place in the video game WWE 2K19.
Oh dear God, okay.
In the story mode, you take your created character through the story, and eventually you end up in a feud with the Wyatt family. And after getting beat up really bad, a wrestler named Finn Balor offers to team up with you. Thing about Finn Balor is that he has like 2 modes. He has basic wrestler mode and another mode where he transforms into the Demon King.
Okay.
He's never lost while he's the Demon King.
Is he the one who is no, that's not Finn Balor. I was trying to remember which wrestler was like canonically related to a Muppet, but I don't think it was Finn Balor.
That's Sheamus.
That's Sheamus. Okay, I don't know how I got them mixed up. Okay. Sorry, continue.
Let me show you a picture of Finn Balor when he's in demon mode.
Thank you. All right. Okay, that's pretty demon-y. All right, that works.
So because of this, our newly awoken Matt comes up to you and says he can awaken a transformation in you by putting you in touch with your soul's history.
I see. Okay.
Matt rips open a hole in the multiverse.
Wait. Our wrestling has a multiverse?
Yep.
All right. I don't know why that took me by surprise. Okay, that's fair.
And introduces you to your past reincarnations.
It's like being the Avatar.
And from this point, you can choose for this big match coming up against the Wyatt family, you can turn into a polar bear, a shark, a king cobra, or also a demon.
I mean, all of those options are incredibly strong. Like, I don't know where to start with that. What? God.
My favorite.
I don't know. I'm.
Oh, what were you saying?
Oh, sorry. I'm so taken by this whole concept that they just ported this over to another company and then opened up the wrestling multiverse. It's just I'm very enamored with this concept right now.
And I love when Matt is introducing the reincarnation. First he's like, you were a polar bear who wandered the Arctic. And then, like, next on Vanguard 1, a picture of a shark shows up, and your character's like, oh, don't tell me I was a shark, too. And he's like, no, you were eaten by a shark off the coast of Australia in the 1940s. Very gruesome!
That's pretty good. Does the demon form that you get have, like, a specific look, or...?
It looks like Finn's costume. It's just like
okay.
You, like, oh, if you want to be matching with him.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. That's fair.
Because the other costumes are very ridiculous. Let me send you a picture of the other costumes.
I don't know why, but you sending me pictures of things is always one of my favorite parts. I no longer have to imagine it. Oh, okay, that's see, I was picturing literal animals because I am naive, but now I know better.
Well, the shark is usually what people choose in Let's Plays because it looks the most like it.
I don't know. I'd have a hard time not going for the cobra personally.
I think there's a DC villain that dresses just like that.
There is! Wait a minute. Yeah, there is.
Is it Copperhead?
Diamondback? Copperhead? It might be Copperhead. No, you're absolutely right. There is a DC supervillain that just dresses like this. Copperhead does have, like, the snake helmet / mask around his face. I swear there's more than one of these.
I found him. But
yeah.
It was a search to find him, because now when you search up Copperhead Batman, you get all the horny version from Arkham Origins.
Oh, man. The Arkham costume designs are often not my favorites. Not to get into comic book stuff.
I mean, that's fine in this case, because we're very far in the deep end of weird shit in wrestling.
I mean, so far, it's still all pretty on theme, I thought.
Well, I mean, I don't even think Matt stayed on theme for all of
yeah,
this.
Fair. Oh, God, I love that they got away with all of this. Just talking animals and the drone that talked. And did the drone's drinking problem get unpacked? Because I have many questions about that as well.
I don't think it did. I think
all right.
It's just something that's going to be there.
I have so many questions, and they all start with what the fuck.
Oh my god.
All right, that's totally fair.
So, what are your kind of, like, full thoughts on the rest of this?
Well, man, my goodness. I just, for some reason, I know I've said this before, but for some reason, the fact that they came up with this themselves and really kind of pushed it when the company didn't really have any faith in it just makes it so much more endearing. It just comes off as such a like charming and silly thing that these two did together, and I really, really like that. Like, I think it's really cute that, like, their family got involved, and, like, I'm looking at, like, you know, Matt Hardy's wife has a Twitter, his son has a Twitter, there is a Senior Benjamin Twitter with a pinned tweet directing me to a Senior Benjamin t-shirt that I'm very tempted to purchase. Like, I think it's really, really cute, and it's really fun that they got to indulge in this specific level of nonsense. This is just, it's so very much my level of silly that I'm just very in love with everything I'm learning about this.
It's very good.
It's so good.
It's, like, the context I gave you of the storyline was more context than when I had watched the final deletion.
Naturally.
Like, what I had known was that Matt was champion, he lost the championship, and now he was mad at Jeff, which is, like, a pretty normal setup in wrestling, especially with tag teams, for them to break up like that.
Yeah, that sounds like an extremely normal setup for, theoretically, an extremely normal match.
Because even people that I knew that hated Impact were like, you have to watch this. You have to know.
It's fantastic.
Because I think, I'm not going to say it changed everything in wrestling, but it definitely kind of opened up new ideas about, like, what could be done in wrestling. Yeah. Especially because of the direction they took Bray Wyatt's character, who we'll be doing an episode on soon, but I might as well kind of set that up because I might make that next episode. Yeah, it seems right to do at this point because I've set up John Cena's portion in this.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So, Bray Wyatt was cult leader, and, like, had, like, his group of the Wyatt family. And he would try to, like, test people. He was, like, the eater of worlds, but he was clearly, like, trying to be set up for, Undertaker is old, and Kane is a mayor of a town in Tennessee now. We can't get them all the time.
Yeah. Forgot Kane was mayor.
Mayor Kane.
Yeah.
So, but the problem was, they couldn't, like, build him up correctly. They kept making him lose. So a lot of people were like, yeah, Bray does interesting stuff in his performance, but, like, you know, he's gonna lose. So he reinvented himself in just the most fantastic way. And I have to say, like, probably Matt is is not, like, incidental in this being done. Because he reinvented himself as a demented Mr. Rogers character. Who housed a demon inside of him. And would do, like, these little segments of, like, fucked up kids show called the Firefly Funhouse.
Okay. I'm incredibly intrigued.
Because I'm going to show you the picture of him when he's not in demon form, and then I'm going to show you when he is. And most interesting thing is that very recently he's picked up a character who's, like, teaming with him, who I guess would, if he's supposed to be like a WWE Joker, this would be their equivalent of the Harley Quinn type character.
Okay.
Like a supernatural one. It's the wrestler Alexa Bliss, who already dressed like Harley.
Oh, yeah, okay, I've heard of her.
She started doing supernatural stuff too recently. Here's a picture
Good for her.
of both modes next to them.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. That's a pretty good demon look, honestly.
I've heard recently they've started fumbling the demon storyline too, but
oh no.
But the match we're going to talk about next is the one I described as the Evangelion of wrestling matches.
God, you've described it that way before. Thankfully, I've still not watched any of Evangelion, so this is gonna set the framework for what that means.
Yeah, so for anyone else who doesn't know exactly what I mean by that, I'm just gonna explain it, because I'm hyping this up big just because it's one of my favorite matches of all time, because there's so much, like, to it. When I say it's like the Evangelion of wrestling matches, just imagine a narrative that takes a character who you think you understand totally and just rips them into shreds, exposes their insecurities and everything they hate about themselves.
Jeez, alright.
And leave them totally naked and defenseless, and then kills them.
I feel like that might be spoilers for Evangelion, but I'm not sure.
Well, it's not. I don't think the events happen as literally as that. They happen kind of emotionally.
That's fair.
So, next episode, a lot of people are going to tell me it's too soon, but very excited to talk about it. Is John Cena versus Bray Wyatt.
Hell yes. I mean, I feel like we've gotten some good build up there. You've explained I've seen John Cena. I've seen him fight. I've learned a bit about him. I just started learning about Bray Wyatt. Like, I feel like, I don't know. I don't have context or whatever much experience, so I can't really judge. But, like, I mean, why not? I want to... You're connecting threads that have been established already. I think it works.
I'm really hoping it does, because I was obsessed with this match when it came out. It was the most amazing thing.
I'm so excited.
Yes, I definitely needed to talk about Matt, because this is another cinematic match, too.
Cool.
So, I'll see you all in the next episode, where we talk about
Have a good one, everybody.
Bye.
See you later.